Our choreography staff is very experienced. We're very lucky to have them. Kathy Babcock, who has been teaching ballroom dance in Reading for ever, 20, 30 years. We're very lucky to have her. And Ashley Addition, who specifically is choreographing the ballet sequence in our production. And she's a wonderful dancer and choreographer. The ballet sequence is it's about a 10-minute section of the show, and it's a recreation of a dream that Laurie is having. Laurie, our heroine, falls asleep after smelling some smelling salts and kind of puts her into this trance, and she falls asleep, and during her dream, there's a representation of all the things that is going through her mind, all the things that she's choosing, trying to make up her mind, her very young and infatuated, loving mind to do, for these choices to make, and it's represented in a ballet. So we have a ballet double come in and be a Laurie, a Curly, and a Judd, and they do this ballet sequence representing her dream, and it's just a beautiful sequence of dance for people that might be in the Reading area that are coming to see Oklahoma, and they're like, oh great, ballet, you know, I have to sit through an hour of people in tights, you know, this kind of thing. It's definitely not that way. We've taken it from the perspective of these are actors who are also dancing, and it is a very strong portion of the show that is portrayed and continues the plot through this segue of dancing. So it's not having to sit and watch dance steps by any means, and that was my goal going into this, is we want to see a continuation of the story. We want to see what's really going on and how can we make these beautiful dancers represent all of these things, the turmoil that Laurie is going through in her dreams. We see Judd chasing after her. We see the love and what she really wants to have with Curly, and the difficulty that she's having and the struggles that she's going through trying to create that dream and make it a reality. So there's so much of that comes to life during the dream sequence. It's a very important part of the show. And the cast that we have some amazing dancers, and they just dance the part beautifully. So not only is it a really integral part of the show to show what it is that's going on in Laurie's mind and how she feels about everything and the continuation of these characters and what they're doing in the show, but we also get to see just brilliant technicians of dance being these characters, and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to watch. We have our young Miss Skylar Rice, who will be leaving us in the fall to go to University of Miami. We're very proud of her. Skylar Rice and Tyler Williams, who is a dancer here in town. Mark Amaker, who's also been doing ballet in Reading for many, many years. Christy Amaker, Mark's wife. They're recently married. She is the owner-operator of Front and Center Dance Studio, and she's a brilliant dancer. She's been dancing with the Dance Project and the Cascade Theater for years, and she's been teaching our youth in the community dance for many, many years. Wonderful dancer. And we also have some student dancers that are doing very, very well also, that are incorporated in there. Nick Powers is one, and Louis Lycon, who is also another wonderful male dancer, and who also danced with James Santos in the Dance Project at the Cascade Theater for years. He's a great, great dancer. One of our special additions, a very special addition to our dance sequence, is not a dancer. And he's a very good friend of mine, Matt Goodman, who people may recognize from The Sound of Music. He was the captain in The Sound of Music, and he was also Edna in Hairspray. He's been doing community theater in Reading for many years now. He's a wonderful singer-actor. But not a trained dancer, but he's such a strong actor, and he's such a big guy that we have him as our dance double as Judd in the dream sequence, because he's so big and menacing, and he has such a wonderful, strong presence. So I forgot to mention him as a dancer, because he doesn't come to mind when I think of dancers, but he's doing an amazing job, and he's so physically strong. Some of the things that he's able to do physically with the other dancers in this is so impressive, and he's become a really great asset to the community, not only as a wonderful singer and actor, but also as a great dancer in our ballet, as well as some of the other parts in the show. So we're very lucky to have him as well. So some of the other student cast that we have in our ballet sequence is Stephanie Scatina and Hannah Ritchie, and they're doing a fabulous job. Kathy Babcock she's a very special lady. She's been a wonderful part of this whole creative process. She's a wonderful choreographer, and she is doing the majority of the choreography for the show, particularly our really big dance numbers like Kansas City and The Farmer and the Cowman and all of that, and she's doing such a wonderful job. Again, we took the same approach where we wanted it to be based more on the activity of the actors and continuing the story much more so than the dance steps themselves. So it's very earthy, it's very what you would see if you went to a good old hoedown is what you're going to be seeing. These are people of the Oklahoma Territory and they're having a good old time. So we saved all of the formal dancing for the ballet, really. And it's just a lot of really fun hoedown kind of music and type of choreography. It's very salt of the earth. That's what it was. Yeah, her choreography is definitely very salt of the earth. This was an addition that was thought of really early on in the developmental stages of the show. One of the things that Diane Venora actually had inspired was giving the audience a sense of what's about to come in the show before the show even begins. So as the audience trickles into their seats, there will be a show that's already in progress on the stage. We will be seeing an entire day elapse, a day in Oklahoma, day in the life of people living in Oklahoma. We will see Ann Eller on her ranch and on her farm, and she'll be interacting with people that'll be there and just doing what they do throughout the normal sequence of a day. So we will see sunrise through sunset and a day in the life of Oklahoma, and they'll get to enjoy that and get into the mood and take in the scenery and take in what they're about to experience and really get to sit and marinate in the atmosphere that we're about to create in the show. I think it can be difficult for an audience member, particularly when people are, running late or they're thinking about, things that are going on before the show and everything, and then they're hit with the music that comes in and they're starting a show. But if they can be welcomed in to an atmosphere that shows character and shows the scenes and shows the sets and shows people that are already intermingling, their imaginations begin to create the world before it even begins. And that was our hope, was to get them really involved and get their imaginative juices flowing and get them excited about seeing the shows and wondering which characters are which and what's going to happen, and just get them set and ready to go through the whole experience of a day in this world of Oklahoma. Yes, there is. We, through Jones Feed, here, local place here in town in Redding, we were lucky enough to be able to get 2 wagons that we've rented from them. A big old wagon that we're taking to the Box Social, and we do have a Surrey, which may or may not have the fringe on top. You'll have to see the show to find out. But yeah, we will have a Surrey, and we will not have live horses. I'll just cut the anticipation now. There will not be any live horses. We've done that a couple times in some of the Cascade Christmases that we've done, and I decided not to. But we will definitely be having wagons, and we will be having a Surrey, and all that great stuff. And it is antique and from the era. It's the real deal. So we're trying to make this as period as possible and as authentic as possible to give that audience that real feel of what they're seeing is what would have happened if they were living back in those times. Over the last 4 years, I've been working with one costumer very consistently. So and he's actually moved out of town and he's pursuing a higher degree in costume design, Chris Yost, who was a huge blessing to the Redding community. But that opened up an opportunity for working with someone new, and I have had the privilege this year of working with Rita Simpson, and she's done costumes for Shasta High School's musicals for years and years. She's definitely a veteran working with those kids, all those kids and those huge casts and these wonderful shows they put on there for years and years now, and boy, she knows her stuff. She has come into this process with an open mind and a wonderfully creative eye, and is decorating all of our characters to just look their best. And one of the visual traits that I've tried to keep very consistent throughout this show is we wanted a very sepia-toned show. I didn't want a lot of flashy colors and bright colors. I wanted it to be very authentic to the times, which would have been a lot of light colors and things that were faded and very delicate prints and all the things that people would have worn, handmade dresses and sewn-on hand lace and all of those things. And Rita's attention to detail in the costumes has definitely captured that. that, and it's something that I really see that's summing up the atmosphere as a whole, and she's really contributed to that. She's done a wonderful job, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it looks on the stage once we're able to put it up there under the light. It's one of the things that we say before rehearsals begin to get everybody into character and into costumes is boots and hats, and everybody walks into rehearsal wearing, you know, gym shorts and a tank top with a cowboy hat and cowboy boots on, and it's just hysterical. It cracks me up every time I see it. So yeah, that's definitely one of them. I will miss the boots and hats coming into rehearsal. Let's see, what else? I think one of the things that I will definitely miss about this show is the camaraderie that's developed during this cast. It's just amazing to me how these people have really bonded together and formed our own community. And there's so many friendships that have been born through this cast that it's been a really magical time, and it's definitely something that I'll be missing. These people have become very dear to me. So I'll be missing the process and missing the people afterwards for sure. I've really enjoyed it, and seeing them grow and seeing them. I really couldn't have chosen a better cast. Going into this production, it's really meant a lot to me personally, because this is the first full production that I've directed at the Cascade Theater. I've done other directing, and I've directed musically things at the Cascade, but never something that I've produced and directed and fully done at the Cascade Theater. So this was a next step for Westside and for myself, and I had such high hopes and, you know, such high expectations and dreams and wishes and things going into this process. And the cast that I have been blessed with has far surpassed anything that I ever could have wished for. And they've brought this whole production to life in such a way that it's just magic. It's just magical. And I couldn't ask for anyone or anything better than the way that it is. Aww. I'm so proud. Being from Reading, I take a lot of pride in this community, and I've worked really hard over the past 10 years to build the theatrical, to help to build the theatrical base that's here, and it's something that I've taken on personally, and I take very seriously, and I work really hard at, and I have a huge team of supporters over the years that have really helped in aiding that. And I think that being able to put on these summer stock productions every year and bringing them to Reading audiences that are hungry for more culture and more arts and more theater, you know, and being able to use the beautiful Cascade Theater that we have, that we're so lucky to have in Reading, I'm really working hard to produce more of that, and I'm excited to present this to the Reading community, and I really hope that they come out to support it and see this show. I think it's going to end up being one of the community's favorites, not only because it's a wonderful Rodgers and Hammerstein show that everybody knows and loves, but because all of the talent is based out of Reading. These are all of our neighbors and people that you see at the bank and in the grocery store, you know, and students and everything. These are our people that are up there singing and dancing their hearts out, and they are so amazingly talented. These are people that have had years and years of training and really take their craft seriously, and I would put them up against anybody on Broadway any day, and I can't wait to show them off to the Reading audience. I hope they come out and see them and cheer them on and get just all the joy that they can out of this production, as we have, because it's been an absolute joy to be able to participate in this and be a part of it.